welcome to your movement video. Today I'm going to start by giving you the Okinawan assignment of sitting on the ground for working up to 20 minutes a day. In the beginning it might be so uncomfortable for some of you that you might last a minute or two. And I'm not being dramatic. I encourage you to try this even though you might think, oh, that's kind of silly, just to see as a gauge how uncomfortable it can be. And maybe it's not necessarily the sitting, but it's after a certain amount of time or it's getting back up. And I want you to keep this in mind. The reason why this is an Okinawa tip is because that is how I grew up on Okinawa, sitting on the ground. My mom and I didn't have furniture. My bachan's house didn't have furniture, my grandma. It was just kind of a big coffee table, and that's where we ate, and that's where you sat and watched TV. And then we had tatami floors, right? They're straw. And we had futon that we would take out. It's futon, but futon that you would take out and then you'd put it away. So your bedding would go away because we had to utilize small spaces, right? And that's why minimalism is really embedded in everything I do, in time, in your energy, and obviously physical space, as you often hear nowadays, the concept of getting rid of stuff and having less. I could go on and on about that, but part of that is having less furniture. So sitting on the ground for 20 minutes is a good goal to work up to. And I want to give you a few reasons why, and then we'll wrap up and I'll give you the assignment again. Number one, I have a special education background. So for a few years, I taught children who were medically fragile. And during that period, I worked with a lot of different therapists, OTs, PTs. I would write these special education contracts for these students who were really dependent on us for all activities of daily living, toileting, etc., from 3 to 6 years old. So every day I learned so much that was so fascinating for me, learning about like the human body pulley system, and everyone would comment like, you get up and down with such ease, even when I was 9 months pregnant. And I explained to them, well, this is how we sit on Okinawa. And that's definitely an aspect of longevity, one of the reasons for longevity. So I can't advocate it enough for all these different reasons, but it's really a chance for you to get in touch with your body, see where you're aching, see what feels good when you stretch it. So the second thing I wanted to say is yoga is one of the misconceptions is that you have to be flexible to do yoga. And I'm actually saying the opposite. If you're not flexible, that's why you should do yoga. And I think every yogi will tell you the same. And I mean yogi from someone who's gone to one class and someone who's like a professionally trained person in India. I think just getting in touch with our bodies is the whole point of yoga. It's about breathing and movement. So if you don't feel like you're flexible and you don't feel like this is a strength, then this is all the more reason. I'm actually not asking too much of you to be just watching TV and sitting on the ground or sitting on the ground with your child. There's a lot of opportunities, more than you think, where you can create space to make this happen. So I encourage you to try that. The third thing I wanted to say is our bodies are meant to be active. You know, we have been outside for most of our human existence. And the fact that so many of us are sedentary at desk jobs or seated in different positions. Even though I stay at home with my kids, I am a breastfeeding mother. I know there are a lot of women who can relate to that kind of hunched over feeling and not getting enough sleep and struggling with posture. Our bodies, if you look at a baby when they are fresh, out of the womb and for the first year of life, they're sitting, their spine is erect, head above shoulders, above hips. And then when you're standing above knees, this is when you start to practice the movement and getting in touch with your body, you'll notice that it's more comfortable for you to sit properly and erect than it is to kind of slouch, because you'll realize, wow, that slouching just doesn't feel as good. And so the last thing I wanted to say is this intuitive stretching. When I give you this assignment of working up to 20 minutes, maybe you'll be bored. Maybe you use it to meditate. I don't know what you're going to do with it. But if you are looking to pass the time, I really encourage you to do this concept called intuitive stretching. I don't really know if someone else has coined that, but that's what I call it. And for me, my hips are where I'm tightest. I've been practicing yoga forever. I enjoy like all the acrobatic aspects of feeling like a gymnast again. But if you'll notice, for yogis will notice that this leg is kind of up high. I still can't kind of get in that quintessential yogi pose. And so there's so much of my flexibility and mobility that it has nothing to do with fitness level, age, anything like that. There are so many different stretches that I recommend. This is called unkoswari in Japanese. This is in my Okinawa full life course, but this is unkoswari, and that means to poop. Is the Asian squat, right? And that is, it's just such a great practice. So I encourage you, when you spend this 20 minutes, these are some of the things that I enjoy. I'll go kind of put my hips to one side and then the other. And I encourage you to let your movement be guided by your breath too. And when you notice that you hold your breath, that's exactly the time to practice taking deep breaths and doing the opposite of what you feel like you want to do, because that's leaning into discomfort. And the more you can get comfortable with discomfort, physically, mentally, emotionally, the more you can grow the muscle of your inner strength. It's all intertwined. This is so much of my passion. So Okinawa and the seated poses and intuitive stretching, I really hope you give it a try. And tag me. I love it when people send me messages, send me photos, because otherwise it kind of feels like I'm talking to nobody, you know, and I miss that teaching aspect of being in a classroom. So the more that I can connect with you, the better. So give me a shout out if you give it a try.